Hey guys, this is Crystal, one of your co-hosts from the Simple and Smart SEO Show podcast. If you're looking for a unique, handcrafted way to spruce up your home or office, then collagenwood.com is the perfect place for you. We are a small, woman-owned business that offers a range of beautiful wooden signs for your home or office. Our talented team of artists will work with you to create a sign that perfectly suits your needs. So why wait? Use promo code SIMPLE10 to save 10%. Visit collagenwood.com today. Save 10% with promo code SIMPLE10. That's collagenwood.com.
There's just one stat that just recently updated. It's like only 5% of LinkedIn members are sharing content on a weekly basis, which is awesome. There's more people in the world.
That's exciting. I didn't know that.
I know it is. So just get on it and try to build your creating online right now. There is no better time. Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Simple and Smart SEO Show,
where we provide tips and advice to improve your website's search engine ranking.
I'm Brittany Herzberg, SEO copywriter for holistic health and wellness pros who want to show up as the answer to a Googled question.
And I'm Crystal Waddell, an e-commerce seller and content creator. I help business owners communicate the value of their products and services through content so you can make more sales and grow your business.
We're business besties who love learning and sharing what we've learned. So what are we waiting for? Let's jump in.
Cool. So hi, everybody. I'm so excited to join today's podcast shows with Brittany as well as Crystal here. I'm Selena. I teach businesses to build impactful brands on LinkedIn that win eyeballs, trust, and clients. And my whole idea when I decided to start founding the In Academy is really to see a lot of like smart business owners to struggle to build a powerful online presence on LinkedIn, especially creating magnetic content that builds demand for their business and use LinkedIn as the best tool to convert LinkedIn connection into customers. And that's why I started the In Academy to help people to achieve that.
Yay, I love it. And I know Crystal was talking earlier. She's like, I am so excited to learn stuff because I want to be over on LinkedIn more. And I don't know if I actually shared this with you or with somebody else, Crystal, but since working with you, Selena, I've been trying to just go on a little bit more, go on LinkedIn and just share stuff. And I've had a spike in interactions. I've had the algorithm is definitely showing me more things that I like interacting with, which is really cool. And then a lot more people are finding me and creating those meaningful connections. Although I'm still getting those cold pitches that are not amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I know LinkedIn is actively trying to avoid that because I know for Instagram, all those I call those pitch slap, right? They put it in the other inbox. I think LinkedIn is now having the ability for you to decide whether to move it to your sort of secondary inbox. So I hope that will help. But yeah, that's totally unavoidable because everybody is trying to get their eyes and attention right in front of business decision makers on the platform. So I think that's the reason why, but otherwise it's great.
Free versus paid, what's better and why and where you should start?
So yeah, free version is wonderful to get started with. But if you're looking into just using LinkedIn as your number one tool for monetization, then considering LinkedIn Premium is excellent because they give you a couple really good features. Number one is who viewed your LinkedIn profile, right? They give you a whole list of people stalking you on LinkedIn, which is the most viable leads, right? People that are interested about you. That's why they click and go to your LinkedIn profile and check out who you exactly are, what your service is, what your solution, what's your background, what's your work experience, right? So that is the number one feature that I think is really helpful. The other is with LinkedIn Premium, you can send LinkedIn emails. So for instance, let's say I'm not connected with Crystal on LinkedIn. I'm really interested with working with you or I want to pitch you, right? Then I can actually send you a short email message with a marketing and selling message there. So LinkedIn Premium is pretty good in that way. And last is social selling index score. I am a huge advocate of really grow your audience. But before doing that, it's to making sure you have a healthy LinkedIn social selling index score. You can Google that. Literally, they will tell you a free score. It's like, you know, when you're in high school or middle school, your teacher is giving you the report card, and that's exactly what they are offering you and letting you know how well you're doing as a professional to build a professional brand on this platform. So if you're anything below 60 score, it's actually negatively impact your overall reach on the platform. So making sure you really dial in to increase that score.
Do you have the link handy? I know I've looked at it before.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, because I remember I looked mine up. I don't remember what it was, but I feel like it was sort of okay because I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've heard people talk about social selling before. And so this is the first time I've ever heard about this score. So that's really interesting. Is social selling something that started with LinkedIn?
I don't think so, but I think social selling is like a concept where people is using their own brand, their profile, their account to use it for selling, right? And using all social media when it comes to that. So LinkedIn just specifically having a score in place to tell you how to measure how effective you are in establishing your brand, finding the right people, building relationship, things like that. And they just give you a score. But I don't think it started with LinkedIn.
Crystal, to answer your question, she said below 60 has a negative impact on your LinkedIn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I be honest?
Yes.
It says that my current social selling index is 30. And
Yeah, but think about it.
like,
You haven't been on there.
Yeah.
well, it says people in my industry tend to have a 38
Oh.
and people in my network tend to have a 35. So I actually rank in the top 67 to 56%. But it's just interesting because I was like, ooh, I'm under that benchmark that you just gave us.
I am too. Mine is 51.
Gotcha.
Ooh, good job.
Yeah, we can really easily increase that. And I love that what Crystal mentioned, right? So when you check your social selling index, LinkedIn give you 3 data. The number 1 data is your top industry SSI ranking, which is like, let's say you're in from my standpoint, I'm a professional, I'm in the education professional consulting industry.
Mhm.
So they also give you like what's are all the people within that industry have, right, as a SSI score ranking. So if you're top 1%, kudos to you. Good job. As for network SSI is where you connect with different people. It's your friends, right? Your friend zone. All the friends that you connected with on LinkedIn, they have, what score do they have? So let's say you are friends with me, you're connected with me. Your SSI score is going to be placed against me just because I'm in your network, right? And just because I'm in one of your connection. So that is another percentage that you have. And last but not least is the LinkedIn social selling index.
Well, you were talking about how if we were in your network, our score would be kind of compared to your score.
Yeah. So it's relative, right? So let's say you added me on LinkedIn as a connection, then you are my friends. And my score is like 90. So your score is going to bid against me.
So it's actually
Does that
bad
make
for
sense?
you.
Yeah. So one in your network, let's say the average SSI score is a little bit higher than you do, then you will be ranking based on their score. And that's the network SSI. That's different from the industry SSI. Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously the last one is your current SSI score itself, and it's contribute with the 4 pillars that you see, like establishing your personal brand, finding the right people, engage with insight, and building relationship.
So I have a question related to those 4 pillars. How can we use keywords on LinkedIn and all of the places that we can use them? And we can go into that, but how can we use keywords to potentially help us boost these rankings?
Absolutely. Love it. So if you really hone in your SEO on LinkedIn, you can increase your pillar for establish your profession. Part of it is because this, as well as finding the right people. So these are the 2 bar if you're like really do a fantastic job. There's so many ways you can do it, but I'll just like highlight 3 that I think like you can just basically take it away, bite size. You can implement it right away while you're listening to this amazing podcast. One is your headline. So headline contributes 70% of your SEO on LinkedIn. So let's say you are a CEO of the company. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially you see so many CEO on LinkedIn or founders and stuff like that. Instead of putting that for your headline, which you could, make your current headline with something SEO. So for instance, for mine, I still have CEO and founder of the inacademy.com as my company, but my current job title is your LinkedIn business strategist. Because when people are Googling LinkedIning, who could help me using LinkedIn for business, they will search that word, and I will be on top of the ranking when someone is searching LinkedIn for business or LinkedIn coach or like anything that is like regarding to LinkedIn strategy. So those are the three words that I will be winning. So if you are, let's say, Brittany, I'm use you as a perfect example, you're a conversion copywriter. Then instead of putting you as the founder of your company, I will put conversion copywriter or B2B copywriter, right? Things that you really want to win SEO and be ranking higher on LinkedIn. So that's A. B is a very, very simple one. When it comes to SEO is your I talk about work experience, which is current job title. Second is the headline, right? So similarly with what I'm sharing with you right now with all the keywords, you can use that for your headline as well, which you have 220 characters to be able to basically win your keyword. So similarly, you can use B2B copywriter, conversion copywriter, like literally anything that people are trying to search you for, then use it in your headline when it comes to SEO.
And when you're saying headline, like I'm looking on LinkedIn, so it's got my name, it's got like the two pictures, and it's got my name, and then it's got like the chunk of text. That chunk of text is what we're talking about.
That's the headline.
Yeah. And then what was the other one that you mentioned? The first one?
So the other one is the current job title. So when you scroll all the way down to work experience, the very first one, which is like your most recent work experience, that's the one that you will be focusing on when it comes to LinkedIn SEO. Yeah. And then the last one, last hack that I have is when you open your LinkedIn account, go into your own profile, LinkedIn give you three really amazing stats, which is called the private to you dashboard. And the first stat is who viewed your LinkedIn profile. Next is about content impression. The last stat is your SEO number. And not a lot of people know when you click on it, you will see all the data, who is sort of like the ones that looking at your profile with company, job title, where exactly they located, all this stuff, right? So if you do the two tips that I shared with you earlier, you would be able to increase the search appearance number. So search appearance number, it's literally AKA SEO on LinkedIn. So that's really incredible. And when you go to it, you can check, oh no, like that's like some of the things that I do not hit it. Like, let's say I'm a LinkedIn coach, right? Unfortunately, I get ranked as a career coach, and that's exactly not what I want. Then, which means my SEO, the keywords that I'm using on my LinkedIn profile is wrong.
Okay, I'm on LinkedIn. How do you find what did you say, the private to you dashboard?
Yeah, so try to screen share. So when you go to your LinkedIn profile, and then you see your banner, everything, right? You scroll down, there's three stats. It's the analytics, private to you.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
So those three numbers, but click the very last one.
Oh, okay. The search appearances.
Exactly.
Okay, and then it's going to share. And then I'm looking for keywords you were found for?
Yes. So mine is business strategist, LinkedIn, educator, leadership coach. Those are good. And you just need to make sure those are the keywords that you want to rank for.
I only am showing up for speaker.
Which means we need to do something about it.
Yeah, we do.
Tell me, Crystal.
Okay, I can't find my keywords. So does that mean I don't have any keywords that I'm ranking for if it just says 17 search appearances, but there's no keywords listed?
Yeah, so keyword you were found for, there's no information, right?
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah,
I don't even see that as an option.
Yeah, so which means you can like update your LinkedIn headline, like I mentioned, as well as your current job title. But my suggestion is don't add it as CEO or founders or anything, but something that is relating to your current job and something that people will be searching for, looking for you.
So how do we figure out some good terms to put? Because I feel like even with you saying like B2B copywriter, that's not something that's normally in my like everyday lingo. But I know that on LinkedIn, that's what they're going to be looking for because you're so well versed in that world. So like Crystal, what would be something for you, like the audits or?
Oh, well, because I'm trying to, add that Google certification of UX researcher, I put that in there.
UX. Yeah, I think UX is a big thing on LinkedIn. People are searching often for like user experience. I think UX itself, product manager, right? Like all those would be some of the search word. I think it's more tied to what you're offering, right? Like, for instance, Brittany, for you, it would be sales page, or you would help people with launches, let's say. Then I would put like copywriter for like marketing launches or like for course creator, things like that. Then that would be some of the keywords that you would love to be found for. Yeah.
Got it. And I've seen some people where they just have like the vertical slash mark and it seems like they just put keywords in their headline. Is that a good idea or is it better to like write for the person that's reading it?
Yeah, so I have my own formula that I give it to my clients that you guys could practically just use it. The very first couple of like letters, it should be very similar to what it's your current job. So for instance, mine will be your LinkedIn business strategist to begin with. The reason why I'm planning this is because when people are scrolling through newsfeed, that's the first thing that people is going to see. So instead of having like what people call the niche statement or mission statement or whatever, like that different synonyms that people are saying, I don't like that because then things will be cut off half the way. But instead, have the very short 3 to 4 words, 3 to 5 words to describe who you exactly are. And then you can add the mission statement. So for instance, mine is like creating a personal brand that people wanted to follow, convert connection into customers. That's it, right? And that's my mission statement. And then later would be the slash work that Brittany is mentioning, like 1 or 2 keywords that is really ties to you. So for instance, I also want to rank on as a keynote speaker and corporate trainers, right? So I put those 2 at the back of that. And then last but not least, I think it's just so special for LinkedIn right now nowadays to build a personal brand. And it is amazing if you can just add something a little bit more, what I call USP, unique selling point of yours. So mine is like, coffee plus ice cream lover. Some of my clients is like writer by day, singer by night, something like special, or a twin mom of 2, something that, people will be like, oh, that's an interesting profile. I want to connect with this person.
So that sounds kind of like a more personal, like sharing about your personality or your life, like really getting you into that headline.
Absolutely.
Love it. Crystal, go.
Okay, so as you're saying all of this, I think it's really important that we establish something for anybody who's listening right now, because I think that if you're listening, you're probably like, okay, this all sounds good. And, maybe I'll even try it. But why should people listen to you? Because we haven't really talked about that.
Oh, yeah, no, we haven't.
I don't know when you guys are going to lead into that, but I would just like go with the flow. I love it. I think there are so many things that I think people would love to hire me as a coach, but I think my most happy credential is I used to work for the platform. So to me, it's like really self-explanatory that, when I'm wanted to teach LinkedIn, I'm really working in the marketing solution, teaching different like Fortune 500, 1,000 companies to really use LinkedIn for their full advantage when it comes to using LinkedIn for marketing and social selling. So there's no better place to learn LinkedIn through the In Academy. That's, I would say, my strongest credential when it comes to that.
I definitely agree. And I'm also going to say, before we get to Crystal's question, that I've been on the back end of Selena's business and I've seen the sales pages, I've seen the copy, I've heard all of her advice, not all of it, but much of it. And you really care about helping people like Crystal and me who are like, yeah, that sounds like a cool place to go hang out, but I have no clue what to do. Like, Selena is your person.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I think there's so many people out there that offer LinkedIn strategies, which I love, like, because I'm like obviously super biased in terms of loving the platform. But I think what really cut through the noises between us, like the In Academy, our team, and the other people, is that we really truly cares for our clients. And I want LinkedIn as a platform that works for them, not the other way around, not to sort of like mold in the boxes that it's like, oh, LinkedIn algorithm change, like it pushes text posts. Okay, now all do text posts only. But we're differently. Like our business are so special. We all have our own DNA. It should be how the platform is going to work for you and your business. And that's how I see everything else for other social media platform as well. Crystal.
Yeah. And I wanted to make sure we said that, because I'm over here, like, while you're telling us this, I'm going to my LinkedIn profile and I'm making these changes. And I'm so excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, like somebody who knows what they're talking about is telling us exactly what to do. And then I realized, I was like, oh, wow. The first thing I realized is, number one, people may not understand why we're so excited, and why we're implementing this right now. It's because, like, Selena knows what she's talking about. She's been on the inside and now she's sharing it with everybody, which is great. And the other thing I was thinking about is hearing you talk about LinkedIn. Hearing you talk about LinkedIn is like probably what people who are not familiar with SEO feel like when we talk about SEO, because I'm like, where do I start? There's so many bubbles going on.
That is 100%. So true.
Yeah, 100%. And why is it so important, right? Because we're so in the weeds of it, and we know how powerful it is if you really like focusing on your SEO for both of you, right? Like dialing in your podcast, learning all those amazing juicy tips that you can right away implement. And similarly for LinkedIn, I think a lot of people, to me, is a totally black horse for a lot of different platforms, because when people think about social media, they think about other, like, Meta, Facebook, formerly Instagram, now TikTok, right? Twitter, or any other places. But to me, LinkedIn is a perfect place to do monetization because of three statistics. One is there's only 5.2% of people are creating content on a weekly basis, which means the rest of it, 94.8%, are lurkers. Imagine a business owner really consuming your marketing message, and it's completely for free. You don't need to place an ad in front of CEO of a Fortune 500, 1,000 companies. What is a better place than LinkedIn than here, right? And secondly, the platform have been growing year on year in terms of how many content, as well as like newsfeed activity. I don't have a specific number right here on top of my mind, but that's like how the growth rate is, which means people see the potential of this platform to grow, and there's more people like spending more time here than other social media. And last but not least is how LinkedIn is the most trusted social media platform compared with all the other places. So if you're building your brand, especially you're a small business owner, your know, like, and trust is your most viable and most important social currency for you, right? And having people knowing you, super important, so that you can really let people know who you are, what you're offering. Like, if people don't like you, they won't buy from you, right?
Nope.
And last but not least, if they don't trust you, it will never become your client. So there's no better place than using LinkedIn. It's already like such a trusted platform. No one can lie about going to Harvard or they are like some sort of like billionaire, because all your credential is there. It's very rarely for someone to lie using LinkedIn profile.
Okay, so the next thing I have to ask about.
Oh wait, before you do that, can I make a point about what she was just talking about? And it's gonna be really quick, just because before we like jump ship and go somewhere else. One thing that you've talked about, Selena, has been using LinkedIn as a sales page for your business. And when you said that, it blew my mind, because people will put different roadblocks in front of them. And one of them might be, I don't have a website, or I don't have this, or I don't have a network. And really, if you put this to use, and I've seen this by working with you, it is incredible how your profile turns into a sales page for your business. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, I'm done.
No, I love it, because I got a lot of like small business owner. Some actually are still like working for 9-to-5 corporates. and they are using LinkedIn as the sales page for their side business, their side hustle. And it's incredible because you can drive so many website traffic initially, because I know SEO takes a little bit time to build, right? Like once you build like 3 months, 6 months, amazing. It's amazing numbers. Is you can hit 4-digit very easily after that. But LinkedIn, you can actually hit 4-digit just by creating content online and building an amazing LinkedIn profile just for your first month. Imagine that, 1,000 eyeballs on you using LinkedIn as your sales page, and you move those people, your content through your profile directly to your sales page, directly to your application form, directly to download your freebies. Any most important social action you want them to take in order to get into your digital ozone, LinkedIn is really a great place to be.
All right, Crystal, you're up.
Okay, so what I was going to say is, the other side of SEO that's important, in my opinion, is creating content. And so I'm wondering from your perspective, like, what do you think is the best way to go about creating content? And what type of content should someone create to have the biggest impact on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I love that. I want to break it down to 2 parts, because I know creating content, it's not very simple for a lot of people. Like, I'm coming from a marketing background. Creating content, it seems really easy for, right? But I still struggle with it. Like, let's say consistency, or like what to put sometimes, or you don't feel creative, right? So let me tackle the ones that, you're tuning in and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have any marketing SEO background. Where should I start? I would start with you. I'll start with what's your content specialties. When I mention that is 3 things. Whether you are a graphic designer, then creating content that like graphic driven. You can make carousel, which is equals to document posts on LinkedIn. You can make infographics, things like that. A really good example is Liz and Molly. I think she did this amazing graphics about, she's a career sort of like strategist, and she talked about, using different graphics. I can send it to you guys later. And she just like sort of like blowed up on LinkedIn as well as other social media platform with that. Next is whether you're a writer. If you're a writer by trade, you can use text posts to sort of like express yourself. You can do LinkedIn article, LinkedIn newsletter. You can do a lot of stuff just using text, right? If you are like me, I love expressing myself using video. You're a public speaker by trade. You're not camera shy. Maybe consider using video to sort of express yourself. I would start with this. And then from there, because the things that you're doing now with this content, it spark you joy. It makes you don't feel like you're forced to do something that you don't want. You can make it happen for you by doing this consistently and showing up for your audience weekly basis, and don't feeling forced to do something that you don't want. So that I would start with this. And then from there, you choose your format and then choose sort of like things that you want to talk about with pillars. So that's the first one. When it comes to SEO, LinkedIn, it's great because I know for Instagram, it's all about short form content. TikTok for sure, short form content. LinkedIn, you can do it in both. So you have short form content, which is your content that is on your newsfeed. For around, it goes actually 24 hours is the most important hours when I'm explaining to my clients when it comes to engagement. But it's actually lasts for 5 to 7 days on someone's newsfeed if you constantly engage with it, which is fantastic. Whereas like for the life cycle or the life shelved for Instagram, it's like 24 hours and it's gone, right? So it's very, very short span for the lifespan when it comes to that. But LinkedIn have that. And also LinkedIn article. LinkedIn article is exactly how you rank on SEO when it comes to Medium, which is another like blog platform, and also your own website for blogs when it comes to blog or WordPress, right? So it's the same algorithm when someone is trying to search for those keywords to learn, like, let's say how I can optimize my LinkedIn profile from A to Z, right? And then I have a LinkedIn article with this and also a blog article, and you got ranked twice, and you don't necessarily need to change anything. And it's a really easy and low hanging fruit. If you're already like listening to you ladies, learning about SEO, building your blog using website, duplicate that and use it on LinkedIn as well, because that would be a lifespan shelf for you, at least 3 to even a whole year, that people are still discovering you as well as discovering your content on LinkedIn.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so you read our minds. We're over here in the chat having this conversation because both of us wanted to know about this. So are you saying I could copy the copy over to an article on LinkedIn? And I have a follow-up question to this, but are you saying we just put the copy on there and let it be its own post, or should we shrink it and then drive them to the rest of our blog post? Or like, how do we play articles
or
correctly?
create an article? Yeah.
I don't think you need to like create an article specifically for LinkedIn, because like I shared, the algorithm and the Google search function are very, very similar when it comes to that. Like you can easily find a link, like an article on LinkedIn that talking about that topic, and you can be found on Google, right? So that's, I hope I explained this well in terms of that. And when it comes to Brittany's question, whether it's to, like, let's say it is a actually really good idea, which I also recommend my clients, but I wouldn't recommend to start off with that. So you mentioned there's 2 ways, right? One is like copy pasting your blog directly, which is what I would recommend anyone to do starting off on LinkedIn, want to like just to create some content, and you already have like 20, 40, 50 blog content already to blast, then do it on LinkedIn. Just copy paste, do whatever you are doing on WordPress or your own blog similarly. Perfect. Next is to have it, what I love to say, just a trailer of your blog. Absolutely, you can do that. I would recommend doing it later, because I still want your audience to feel like, oh, this person just keep providing value. I love reading Crystal and Brittany's blog. Let me just continue following her. And then when you do warm up your audience, which is the number one mistake that a lot of people don't do when it comes to growing any type of social media, not just LinkedIn, right? Warm up the audience, just give before you take. Then you can do the trailer tips, which is like you show them the most juiciest tips, right? Just like what we said, why social selling index score is so important. Here's the 5 ways you can just quickly jumpstart and boost your score. And then you cut it right there and say, read the entire full articles here. And then you make a link and link it back to your website. And that's extremely powerful to drive traffic from LinkedIn to there.
Okay, so perfect. So just to like reshare this, don't necessarily start with doing articles. Start with just putting content out on LinkedIn. And then once you start doing articles, just copy paste the blog articles that you already have that are performing well and give the whole blog over in an article on LinkedIn. And then you can graduate to just doing like a trailer, the teaser, and linking back to your blog. Okay, do we need to worry about images with articles?
I think it's like super similar to your blog, right? Like you sort of do need to break up the text. Don't like to read 1,000 or 1,600 word of article, whole chunk. So similarly, like just making sure you have like pictures in between, as well as your banner image, which is equals to your thumbnails, is sort of like something very easy for people to know what is it in for them to read that article.
Got it. Crystal.
Okay, so I'm choked up over here, Selena. I'm not kidding.
I don't know if you saw her reacting. She was like so excited.
I'm so excited because a lot of times on a website, just different articles don't rank, or they don't get indexed, or they just don't do well, and nobody really ever sees them. So it's exciting to think that if you have been a content creator and you've done all the things that people say, where it's like create weekly, and keep doing consistent content, and you're like, I have all this content that no one's ever seen. It's like you can put it on a place where a lot of people are going to see it. So if you have good content that really hasn't gotten a lot of great exposure, it sounds like LinkedIn is the perfect place to really build up your authority. And then the question that I had related to this is like, when you share an article on Twitter, which is one of the main reasons why I share my articles to my Twitter account, is because I had heard that there was like a relationship there between ranking and indexing and, between Twitter and Google. If you do something like that on your LinkedIn page, is there an advantage? Is there a SEO or Google advantage to sharing your blog via LinkedIn?
Absolutely. So I have a perfect example of one of the article that I ranked so high that but I actually placed it on LinkedIn, not Google. And it gave me so much traffic to my website. And that's the article is about like what's the difference between LinkedIn blog article versus posting LinkedIn posts. So as long as you have things that it's very, very special that you can, like you said, build a voice of authority, really using LinkedIn as a perfect source to drive extra traffic to the most important areas for your business, whether it's your sales page, whether it's your website, whether it's your freebie, is really good. Another thing that I want to mention is like, I think I shared with Brittany a long time ago is that Google is changing in terms of their own algorithm when it comes to people search. So they're going to rank people first content, I think it's called.
Oh, helpful content?
Helpful content, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
we'll link to that one.
Yeah, so Google new mission is to really help people with helpful content that is provided by creators, that is people first content will come first, which is incredible. Like imagine if LinkedIn is supporting that, Twitter is supporting that, which means if you're just like copy pasting your blog, you're creating that articles to be seen by more people when people are searching for it, right? Rather than like some sort of like big tech giants or like a marketing or agency giant just basically trying to place an ad word on top of the search, but instead it would be focusing on people first content, people that it's made by people and consumed by people.
Mm-hmm. Which is why it's important to write for people, but kind of keep the robots in mind. That's what I like to think of.
Yeah.
You had another question, right, Crystal? Your hand's still up.
Oh, is it still up? I didn't mean for it to be still up, but I think you did kind of answer it. But at the same time, as I think about this whole thing of LinkedIn articles, is there a LinkedIn article and a LinkedIn blog, or is it just one or the other?
There's only LinkedIn article, but there's also another feature that they are helping creators with. It's called LinkedIn newsletter. So you can create, it's like an ecosystem to host all the articles, right? So let's say, and it's great if you have like a huge following on LinkedIn or you're saying something in a very specific niche. So for example, one of my clients is a Bitcoin, a macro economics economist, and he's an expert in talking about that specifically. And he have a newsletter with very niche people following him. And he will have a newsletter of people subscribing to his newsletter, and he will do like bi-weekly articles regarding to like the most updated Bitcoin and macroeconomics updates, trends, what's going on with the current news. And he would do that with a bi-weekly manner. And on top of it, when people subscribing it, they will get notification within LinkedIn app, also directly to their email, which is incredible. So it's like operating like a newsletter for your designated email marketing without the marketing tool. You don't need to have a MailChimp. You don't have to have anything, but using LinkedIn for newsletter.
That is so true. Oh my gosh, that alone, you really don't need anything else. If you can go to LinkedIn first, man, I wish I had known that.
Now you do.
Where were you, Selena? Yeah, you're right. No,
especially
I can do this
for
now.
Both of yours, like it's so niche, and I know a lot of people are so into SEO on LinkedIn. You know, like the nicher it is, the better it is for LinkedIn. And if you could just sort of like repurpose some of your amazing podcast show, which is amazing, to sort of like show notes on LinkedIn as an article and package it as the ecosystem of newsletter. Every time when you launch a new show, that could become your LinkedIn newsletter to be sort of like push it to your audience and letting them know, hey, our podcast show is up. It's live now. Check it out. This is our show notes, things like that. Yeah.
Oh man, that's incredible. Okay. So do you still have some time? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to block out extra time for this.
Okay. I should have warned you. Some of these conversations just keep on going, and we also keep on asking questions. So thank you. How often should we try to post? Is there an ideal number of times per week?
Yeah. So Love that question, first of all, because LinkedIn is really changing all the time. Previously, like last year, I'll recommend to post every single day. Now it's actually 18 hours as a perfect timing to post. So let's say you post after 18 hours. Oh, sorry. You post before 18 hours, compare with your previous post, your reach will be being punished by both of the posts. So they wouldn't be pushing further. So that would some of the things that be taking note of. But ultimately to me, I always recommend anybody just starting out, don't go 100% with everything that you do, making sure it's like something that you can stick with the plan, right? And you can consistently doing it. And that's the long-term game for everyone to build a really successful personal brand online. So if you are committed to use LinkedIn as your number one monetization tool, I'm so happy you are doing it. Then just stick with one frequency that you feel very comfortable with. Majority of the ones that I recommend my clients to start with is just twice per week.
Okay.
And choose the date that you feel very like comfortable with showing online, whether it's like Tuesday, Thursday, or it's like Wednesday, Friday, right? Like days that it's not your client day, or it's like the days that you feel most creative with, starting with that. And then if you can stick it for 4 to 6 weeks, then you can start ramping up your frequency, because the more that you ramping up your frequency of posting, of course, more likely you'll grow your followers faster, your traffic, your LinkedIn traffic or profile views is going to increase. Everything else that we talk about today, like SEO number, search appearance, SSI score, everything else will be increased as well because you're more active on the platform. So that's how I would go about it.
That is perfect. And I feel like it's also like, I don't know what it is about me, and I can't be the only one that feels like this, but when an expert is like, don't like go all in, like slowly scale, I'm like, oh, thank goodness you said that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not
perfect.
durable. Like,
not.
I just don't like people saying like, oh, okay, yeah, 18 hours is like the perfect sweet spot for you to post. And then they really manually taking a look of the whole Monday to Sunday and like, oh, calculate, oh, after 18 hours, I post this. Oh, then I need to post 9 posts to maximize all the eyeballs. And I was like, but for whoever that's starting out, it's just not realistic, right? So go back to the fundamentals of what I said. Make the platform works for you, right? Not the other way around. It doesn't make any sense for you to fit your business when all the changing of algorithm, right? Including like, Instagram reels, that's like what they're focusing on. And then you just force yourself to show up online through video. It's not going to like make it last. It's not a strategy that you can continue.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it totally leads to burnout. Like, I love reels, but still I need to like take a break from it, and that's fine. And then when I post them, people are still like, I love your reels. And someone told me that this week, and I was like, that's really flattering. When did I post one last? And I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, that's awesome. But yeah, no, it's not sustainable to dive in head first and keep going. And I know that because that's sometimes what I tend to do. Okay, so before we do you have any other questions, Crystal? Because I was going to ask like a couple final ones.
No, I don't have another question, but what I would like to do is, after we kind of figure out our plan for the podcast on LinkedIn and start implementing some of these things that Selena's done, I'd love to have you back, and, we could all discuss, just the applications of what we've learned here. You know what I mean? Not Selena, obviously, but you could give us a little bit of a reflection on some of the stuff that we've improved.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think if I can wrap up in terms of the top 5 things you should be focusing for anybody that's starting off is going to your private to you dashboard, the 3 data that we mentioned, right? The profile views, the content impression, which is like just by posting, it will already help you. The SEO number, which we already talked about those 2 tips earlier. These are the 3 metrics, performance metrics you should be focusing on, not your followers. I know it's like completely against everyone that is teaching you on social media. The other is in terms of SEO, social selling index score, which is the performance metrics you should be focusing on. And last but not least is just really making sure your LinkedIn profile is fully filled up, right? Like from headline, summary, cover photo, your profile pictures, everything else on your LinkedIn profile is just getting complete, it will already helps you so much in hitting 3-4 digit for your LinkedIn profile traffic, your visits.
I love it. Thank you. That was one of the questions I was going to ask you. Okay, so those are the easy, low-hanging fruit to focus on if you're wanting to, like Crystal and I, go over and dominate on LinkedIn. So something that we normally ask for the beginning of the episode that I didn't ask at the beginning, so we're just going to add it on to the end, is how do you, and there's no wrong answer, how do you think of or define SEO?
Ooh, that's a great question.
And there's no wrong answer. We've had everyone say everything.
I think I might have the worst answer when it comes to that.
No, it's not possible.
Ooh.
Like, what comes to mind?
I think it has changed so much, but I would say it's like the most important thing is the keywords that people are searching you for. That's like how I see SEO comes in, and it's just so interconnected with everything that you from Google, which everyone are talking about, but that's not the case. It's also other social media platform. Like today we talk about LinkedIn. We also mentioned Twitter. I know for Instagram, it's also have its own SEO, and TikTok as well. So I think it's like a whole ecosystem, and it's really interconnected. So as long as you are really clear in terms of some of the keywords that you really want to win throughout the entire digital ecosystem, then that's SEO to me.
That is a perfect answer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you get 100. You get an A+++ mic drop. Don't break it.
Oh, mic drop.
I know this is too heavy to drop, but that was amazing.
I like that softball, by the way.
We have
that's
matching ones.
I have. Oh, that's so cute.
And I think it's so funny. I know. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna regret
you're
it.
gonna go there?
I'm gonna say it and regret it later.
I know what's happening.
It's white. I'm white. She has the black one. She's black.
And oh no, mine is not brown. I need to get a yellow one.
I know. I'm gonna have to paint mine like with a stripe down the middle.
It's really good. It's so crisp. Like voice of the sound and audio quality is amazing.
Thank you. I love it. I was looking at getting a mic like yours, and I was going to get that foam cover for it because they call this, I guess, like a spit guard or a wind guard or something. I don't know.
Pop filter. What is that?
Pop filter. There you go. Yeah. So it just it makes me look professional and sound even more professional. Gotcha. So they have like the foam covers for the one like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pop filter, like I have one and I really need to bring it back. I don't know if it helps with the S's, but my S's on the podcast, I'm like, oh, I could just,
I'm going to try to say S now. I'll just keep saying S, like S, Selena
S.
and
S.
Okay, I'm done.
But it's supposed to be those hard sounds like the buzz and the puzz, it takes out that, hard edge to those consonants.
Crystal, did anybody ever tell you have a radio voice?
She really does.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
But announcing really well, and also like for some reason it's just so comfortable to hear.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You should hear my husband's voice.
I don't think I've ever heard John talk.
Oh, he is an amazing speaker.
We need to have him on the podcast.
You guys should do a podcast together, so people could just like listening. I was like, oh, it's like listening to radio.
Yeah, we've joked about doing it because he's like a sports fanatic, and I mean like fanatic.
Yeah.
But I used to be an athlete too, about 100 pounds ago. So
stop
it. We've talked about possibly doing a sports.
Do it. I think it's like I told Brittany I used to have a podcast show, and I think the most interesting statistic that we realize is like the tips the tips episode is really, really popular. People would just basically send message and ask you questions, but the ones that actually have the most sort of like people want to take social action is the ones that you talk about talk about your stories. And I think it's really interesting to know that your podcasters really wanted to know the behind the scene of you operating as an entrepreneur, operating as an owner. So I think that would be really interesting. And I think, Brittany, you should bring your boyfriend here too.
I know. We'll just have like a group episode with everybody and the dogs and the kids and everything.
Yeah. Here comes Desi. Okay. So I forgot before we sign off here and give everybody your links and everything. What about LinkedIn Live,
I
or
was
like
gonna
doing a
say,
podcast live or something? I mean, is that a good idea right now on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know a lot of people do that. I used to do like weekly LinkedIn Live, and it gives me so much leads that I have to stop. And
Oh
now
gosh.
I'm doing monthly, and it's just amazing because again, it's very similar to Instagram story where, sorry, Instagram Live, where people can hop in and hop on. But the thing is, I felt like the attention span for LinkedIn people, it's a little bit longer. When I mentioned
oh,
that, obviously I'm a little bit like biased, but I do feel so because I felt like Instagram is just like, I think it's also the UX. But for LinkedIn, you can really like pop it up for the entire screen to take a look of you, and then they can ask questions. The interaction is really good. They really have sort of like the entire user design. I actually need to ask Crystal whether it's better, but the entire UX design, it's like better to sort of like invite you to engage throughout the entire conversation. And it's also be shown not just on your newsfeed, but also if let's say you're visiting my profile right at the spot that I'm doing live during like Wednesday, every first Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, then my banner will change to my LinkedIn Live. So which is incredible. So that people
automatically?
automatically once you go on live. So that is one of the feature that I think it's really amazing. And the best
Wow.
part is like obviously I'm doing it through StreamYard. I know there's also Restream. There's a couple of like third-party streaming tool. You can do that by streaming on LinkedIn as a main platform, stream it together with YouTube, stream it to Facebook as well, not Instagram, however. So you can basically repurpose the same content and download it and use it as your podcast, use it as interview sort of like recording, and also stay on your newsfeed as one piece of content as well.
That's amazing. That's what I was thinking we should do when we have the follow-up. We could probably double record it somehow, is like stream it on LinkedIn. Maybe not on your profile so you don't get bombarded with leads.
Yeah, we'll take those leads off your hands.
Don't
Selena.
you worry, Selena.
Yes, do it. You can
Yeah, so-
also like invite people earlier, like make it as an event. Where
Oh,
Instagram you can't, right? You can only like sort of
that
tell
makes sense.
people that
Yeah.
you're on your story, but you can actually ask people, invite them to attend your event, and then once you go live, LinkedIn will notify them that Brittany and Crystal is live right now. Go and check it out, and then drive more people to you. And it's
That's
just
incredible.
great to like invite new audiences to
Mhm.
your own zone. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to, you're making me remember that Lorianne, another guest we had, I'll link to her show. She also has, I think it's a weekly LinkedIn live that she does with another friend. So I'll make sure to grab those links and put them in here. But for you, where can people go hang out with you and get free stuff and just hang out with you?
Yeah, of course, LinkedIn. DM me if you have any questions regarding to today's episode. I know we covered so much today, but I'm pretty sure Crystal and Brittany is going to like list it so in a structured manner and organized manner, so it's really easy for you to follow through and implement. Like I said, whatever that you learn from podcast is amazing, but without implementation, it's nothing. So making sure you do that. So DM me on LinkedIn if you are interested to start really building an incredible, powerful personal brand using the power of LinkedIn. Go ahead and check out the www.theinacademy.com. I have an ultimate LinkedIn profile checklist for you, which you can print it. It's a one page. Literally, you can check off the list exactly what you need to do to rank higher on SEO, social selling index score, as well as drive more traffic to your LinkedIn profile. And as you all know, I'm your LinkedIn gal. So I have my own signature LinkedIn program as well, which I work amazingly with Brittany. Brittany helped me with all the amazing conversion copy. So I couldn't be more grateful. Check out the Personal Brand Boss to start with, which is level 1. Level 2 is about content conversion system, which we talk about it very lightly today about how to create content that builds demand for your business. So check those courses out to start your LinkedIn journey. Can't wait to support you every step of your way.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I gotta say, that's actually your free download is how you and I connected because I somehow found you, downloaded
Really?
your guide, and then we started a conversation actually in Instagram DMs, which is where I hang out most often. But
Huh?
you were so supportive. I was like, this girl, I like her. And then, lo and behold, we end up working together with your sales pages and SEO. And now you're on the podcast. And now we're going to like go take over LinkedIn.
Yeah. Go dominate LinkedIn. Again, 5.2% of people creating on this platform. There's
So
really no
wild.
better place to start. Last year's 3%. So it's going to keep going higher and higher. So if you're looking into really dominate a social media platform, there's really no better place. Like to me, that's like Facebook in 2012, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be the first line to really hit the first wave before everything just explode.
Totally. Thank you so much. You dropped so much knowledge. People are going to have to listen to this like 4 times. I know I'm going to have to listen to it.
I know. I can't wait to listen to it over and over again.
We're going to be responsible for like 40% of the downloads.
Does it count? I'm actually intrigued. Is it like one download? Does it specifically tell you is like a unique download, or like you download twice, it's contribute to? I'm actually not sure.
I think it counts every one, but that's a good question. I think it counts every one. It doesn't tell you who finds it. It tells you what platforms they listen on. It's so fun to go back and look at the data. But do you know something I don't know? Maybe Crystal?
No, I think it's something that we can check on, to find like a definitive answer. But from what I understand, every download is unique, no matter if it's the same user. So we can double check that though and get back with you.
You know what? There's a way that I know that that's got to be true. Our private podcast, one of our episodes has like 13 downloads, but we don't have 13 subscribers. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. It counts every listen as a download. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we can confirm for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm just like curious. Like, I'm always want to learn new things. And I think that's something interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fun.
Thanks for joining us today.
If you like this info, subscribe before you go, so you never miss out on something related to SEO.
See you next time.